Hi, this is Troy Wolverton with another video edition of Tech Files. This week I'm taking a look at Motorola's Photon 4G smartphone. Some things in life look better on paper than they do in reality. The Photon 4G is one of them. The phone, which is available from Sprint, has a spec sheet that would make a geek drool. It's got a dual-core processor, it's got a large 4.3-inch screen, it's got an 8-megapixel camera, and it's got a battery life that's reputed to last 10 hours. On top of that, it's one of only a handful of phones that's able to access Sprint's 4G network. Now that feature list is certainly impressive, but I found myself overall underwhelmed by the Photon 4G. Part of the reason for that was that the Photon 4G had a hard time getting onto Sprint's 4G network. I tested it out in a number of places, at my house, at my kids' schools, and at the office, and I just wasn't able to get onto Sprint's network. I was finally able to get onto that high-speed network when I took a step outside of my office and walked into the Mercury News parking lot. But even there, the connection was inconsistent and the speeds were unimpressive. This data speed that I was able to get on the Photon 4G was about what you'd see on AT&T's 3G network and far slower than what you'd see on Verizon's 4G network. Beyond the connection problems, the Photon 4G had other shortcomings. One of these was that its interface is bland at best and confusing at worst. If you want to get to the applications folder on the phone, for example, you have to press an icon that looks like two silver squares set within one another. It's as nondescript an icon as you can find, and I had a hard time figuring out what it did for a while. Motorola also hasn't kept up with rivals such as Samsung and HTC when it comes to the notifications bar in Android. On Samsung and HTC devices, when you pull down the notification bar, you can do such things as switch between applications or even turn on and off various settings, such as the Wi-Fi antenna. Not so on the Motorola device. On a Motorola device, all you can do in the notifications bar is see notifications. One other shortcoming of the Photon 4G compared with its rivals is that it feels a little chunkier and weighs a little more than its rivals do. It's not nearly a sleek device like the HTC Sensation. That's not to say it feels bad in the hand, but it isn't as nice and sleek as it could be. To be sure, the Photon 4G is not a bad device, and there's a lot to like about it beyond just its spec sheet. It has a great camera, for instance. The camera takes nice, sharp pictures, and it has two really cool settings that allow you to take panoramic photos or photos in rapid succession. It also has a dedicated camera button on it that you can use to take the pictures or to turn on the camera. One thing that I would have liked about the camera was that it was pretty slow at times. So when you actually take a picture, when you press the button, it takes an actual second or so for the camera to focus in and actually take the picture. That's too slow if you're trying to take a picture of fast-moving kids or some kind of activity that's going on. Beyond the camera, though, there are other things to like. The screen on the Photon 4G is nice and vibrant and can be viewed from a wide range of angles. It also has a very impressive battery life that seemed to last all day in my use. And it has a cool kickstand on the back that you can use to set the device up and watch a movie, say, without having to hold on to the device in your hands. So the Photon 4G is actually a pretty nice Android device. But for Sprint's flagship Android device, I kept feeling like the Photon 4G ought to be more than it is. I'm Troy Wolverton with Tech Files.